What's up? What's up? What's up? I want to talk to you all about one of those laws of the universe. And that law specifically is when you point a finger, you can expect the two fingers should be pointed back at you. And right now, there are a lot of people on the internet. Basically what they're doing is they're using their power and their authority to so-called expose people. But the thing is, what they're really quickly gonna find out, and y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know I'm talking about this situation with this young brother who's a plumber and having some time to sort it out. Um, I'm confident that the universe, God, these laws that operate in this universe will catch up with those people. They basically expose that young man's past and, you know, have made it very difficult for him, if not impossible, for him to get a job. And so in those situations, you have to understand, well, you know what goes around comes around. And I predict that there's going to be a lot of people who haven't been telling the truth about basic things like their names, their criminal records, their sexuality, all those sort of things that people like to keep secret. They're going to be holding it close because they want to put off a certain image to the public. But if you participate in exposing other people that you expect you're going to get exposed too. That's how that works. I find it interesting that I knew this, the reason I'm so open with people, you guys know everything about me. I talk about a lot of the stuff in these books, and I saw these books and I was motivated back in 2010, 2011, after I was going through a very difficult divorce, which I talk about extensively in my books, especially this first one. I said, I need to go ahead and put this information out there. Let's go ahead and, and this is me talking to myself. Let's go ahead and write it, and put it out there and publish it. Let's not hide it. And hopefully we can help some people. And so it's been 14 years and at least, going on 8 years that I first published these books. And they've been very helpful to people. I talk about the abuse that I suffered as a child, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. I talk about the domestic violence that I witnessed growing up in the house. I talked about the gang violence. I talk about all the scars associated with growing up in that environment and everything it did. I talk about my violence as a child and my prone to violence because I didn't want to hold back. And the reason I didn't want to hold back is because I didn't want anybody to come up and try to throw it in my face 10, 15 years from now when I am even more of a rich and prominent attorney. I didn't want that to come back to bite me. So I didn't want to hide anything. But I've never been the type of person to hide from myself. Now, there's some things I didn't know about myself. I recently discovered that I'm reading this book that I found out about, and my great-great-great-great-grandfather, George Washington Jones Sr., was one of the most prominent attorneys in America. He helped found it, the city of Nicodemus, Kansas. His law partner, W.L. Sayer, helped found a small town, Langston, Oklahoma. My great-great-great-granddaddy literally would write stories and put them in the newspaper in Memphis because he was also a reporter, a writer, and a teacher, along with being an attorney. And he would inspire black people to move to the free states. He himself was from Mississippi, where he practiced law for 10 years, and then 20 years in Kansas. Ironically, and interestingly, some white folks down in Mississippi thought it was a good idea to threaten him, and they gave him 5 days to get out of town. And his response was taking out an article in the newspaper, which would be the equivalent of a Facebook post. You give me 5 days to get out of town, but I'm a good citizen. I pay my taxes. I'm good to everybody. I do my business well. I'm not leaving without a struggle. And this is back in 1888 that this man said this. This is this is back in 1878. So fresh out of slavery at the end of Reconstruction. This black man, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, was standing up for himself. And that just says a lot about him. And it says a lot about the people I came from. And it just really makes me proud to know that. But again, I'm comfortable with myself. I don't hide from you all. So I'm not worried about getting exposed. I put it all out there because I feel like if it happened to me, it happened to other people. I don't think I'm better than you all. That's why I tell you about my hood upbringing. Little that I know, I'm descended from political royalty. The first black man to be the county attorney for Graham County, Kansas. That's like saying he's the attorney for, at that time, that'd be like being the attorney, county attorney for Atlanta or Houston. One of these other towns where you got a lot of prominent black people living. That's a big deal. See, I accept the good with the bad. I don't just try to put a pretty picture out there so you can't expose me. But a lot of these YouTubers out here, a lot of them have a lot to be exposed. They hiding from you. And see, what you do unto others expected to be done unto you. So I'm not gonna shed a tear for them. And it's just amazing. Now, yeah, of course, I'm an attorney. You guys know that. I have, in the past couple of weeks, contemplated what sort of lawsuit could be filed against these people, but I think the Lord is going to get them before I do. Let me just say it again. I think the Lord is going to get these people before I do. The rules of the universe say when you point a finger at one person, expect two to be pointed back at you. When you dig a grave, dig another one right next to it, because you dig a grave for somebody, you're going to be in the one next to them. That's how that works. And when you put good out there, good comes back to you. You put evil out there, evil comes back to you. It's unfortunate that a lot of these people who I have, at least I would think, cordial relationships with are on the wrong side of the V, so to speak. The fact that they would attack that young man, Aaron Sloan, and cause for him not to be able to get a job based on allegations, based on a past criminal history. Y'all act like crime and incarceration is something new to the black community. Most of y'all got relatives and family members that's in and out of prison. Some of y'all's daddies and brothers and uncles. You think this is new to the black community? Why is it so new now? Why y'all like, oh my God, why are y'all clutching your panties and pearls at this point? Y'all don't know any gangbangers, ex-gangbangers? You don't know anybody like that? I bet you find one if you look in the mirror. If not, I'm sure you find some in your photo album if you still have some. Or for you young folks, you'll find them in your cell phone with your pictures that you saved, marked under family. But, you know, people want clicks and likes and views. But again, I'm talking to you all about the inevitable laws of the universe. This doesn't end well for a lot of these people. I remember when let me say it like this. I remember when Tupac transitioned from being a clown around when I get around with the underground to being a gangster, hanging out with Suge Knight. And he started putting that death out there about what he was going to do to who he was going to do. And then it came back and hit him right. It came right back to his doorstep. When you start talking about other people's criminal habits and criminal behavior and past, your past comes up. For those of you guys who have relatives, like your mother might have been on drugs, or your father might have been on drugs, or he might have been a criminal or something like that. They talk about yours and they got their own issues, but they hide theirs. You see? they like this cat over here. See this guy? Let me see if you see that fella right there. He likes to hide his poop. That's how they are. Somebody type buddy in the chat room. Somebody type buddy in the chat room. Buddy will make his appearance no matter what, man. When I'm out here, Buddy finds a way to get on the camera. But anyway, I don't want to dwell on this subject too much longer because there are lessons that need to be taught. But some lessons can't be taught. Some people just have to learn these lessons. And oftentimes they have to learn them the hard way. And so for you guys who support what's right, don't partake in that. Don't partake in the tarnishing and downing of other people in general. I'm not just talking about this one fella. Don't participate in the disrespect. I remember there was a little girl that I went to middle school with. Well, we call it junior high school. And she wore a wig. And you know, the ignorant youth that I grew up around, shout out to John Muir Junior High School, South Central Los Angeles, over, I think, was it on 60th and Vermont. So it was after school one day, we had just got out, and we were walking, and there was a big commotion by one of the exits, the one on 60th and Vermont. And I seen a young girl in the middle of a fray. People kept snatching her wig off her head. She kept grabbing it, snatch it off her head. And at some point, a young man came to her aid. His name was Hindi. Come to find out, that was her brother. I didn't know at the time. I'm just looking at it. I didn't laugh. A lot of people were laughing. And at some point, Hindi and I ended up playing football together at Manual Arts High School. And he told me about the situation that day. And he was happy I didn't laugh because his sister had cancer. And this is 1980, 89. You know, you got a lot of ignorant young people out there. They didn't know about all that. But she was undergoing cancer. So they gave her a wig. And the wig, you don't have a hair problem, do you? You got plenty of hair on your head. And so what the wig did was it allowed her to go to school without being teased. And so, you know, but when they snatched it off her head, she was very embarrassed. And I felt bad about that. This has been, my God, over 35 years, and I still think about how people can pile on. And, you know, invariably, people are entitled to their emotions and they will respond. But when you get yourself together, recognize that that's somebody's life. I don't care if it's somebody that you don't know. If you see somebody fall down and hit the ground, you shouldn't laugh. You should hopefully try to go help them up. You shouldn't kick them while they're down because you don't know when you're going to be down. You don't know how many, I don't know how many of my relatives felt under threat, you know? I'm thinking about my great-great-grandfather. How did he feel when those white folks threatened his life and told him, you got to leave? Because a lot of those lynchings back in the day were of prominent black men and women who were competitors. And my great-granddaddy, he actually was an excellent lawyer. He had white and black clients. This is back in 1887 on up. Now, he died in 1908, which would have made him about 49. All right, man, let me get this guy by. Say goodbye to everybody. Y'all type Buddy in the chat room. Everybody type Buddy in the chat room. Let's get Buddy going. Go find you some lizards. And so I could only imagine what it was like as a black man, fresh out of slavery. You a lawyer, you doing well for yourself. You in your hometown, you practicing law, everything's going good. And then these white folks tell you got to get up out of here. And it's chronicled in this book. And again, I said the book, The First Migrants, The Black Homesteaders' Quest for Land and Freedom, heralded America's Great Migration. I got my ancestors in it. That's crazy. Helped found the town of Nicodemus, Kansas. That's outstanding just to know about that. But bottom line, how did he feel at that time? And who else was piling on? We told you not to mess with them white folk. You too uppity. Now, he held his ground, and he did what he had to do, and he won in the end. You know, and my understanding is that my good friend Hindi's sister, she ended up winning. She found a good man. This is like 20 years ago. He told me about this. She found a good man, and she went on with her life, and, you know, they have a loving relationship. But bottom line is, don't participate in that piling on. You don't know who that could be. It could end up being you. It could end up being your granddaughter, your great-grandson. You don't know who's going to have to deal with that. The sins you put out in there, they say that the sins of the father fall on the children. So you people who are out there, somebody type you people in the chat room, you people who are out there, you saying these horrible things about these people, this young man specifically. What about when it's your grandson's turn or your granddaughter's turn in the future? Because they're going to have to pay. See, what goes around comes around, but it might not come back to you. It might come back to your children or your children's children. I thank God I got ancestors who put good work out there because their blessings are coming back to me. Amen. Somebody type hallelujah in the chat room. There are blessings that my ancestors put out us over a century ago, that what they did are coming back to me and my children. That's a wonderful thing. Wouldn't you like to have your legacy? Wouldn't you like for your children to read in a book? Yeah, my great-great-granddaddy or great-great-grandmother, when she was on YouTube, she was known for speaking the truth and helping people and uplifting people and doing right by people. Not for maligning someone and going with lies that will soon be exposed. You know what happens when lawsuits pop up? The truth comes out. Everybody gonna be trying to watch their little YouTube channels and move all that stuff. But by then, they already got it. Some group of lawyers somewhere saying, hey, this is a stockpile of money that we can get from these people. And so, of course, they're going to invest $2,000, $3,000 in gathering up all that information and having all the videos transcribed. Of course, they're going to do that. That don't cost much at all. You can get a court reporter to do that on their day off. I think you get AI to do it these days. Bottom line is, you might have to pay for that. And if you don't pay for it, your children to pay for it. And that's a curse. That's somebody type generational curses in the back in the chat room. Your great granddaddy was a drug dealer, and you can't understand why your children are strung out on drugs and stuck in the ghetto. You come from a long line of people who lie and cheat and steal, and you wondering why your people are not blessed. Generational curses. Somebody cheated on somebody, and then you and somebody that's in your line got born, and you wondering why y'all don't have any generational wealth. Because your mama was the side chick, and your grandma was the side chick. And both of them children, all the children they had were bastard children. That's why you didn't inherit any generational wealth. Generational curses. That's what you're putting out there on yourself right now. I'm just saying, we can't do nothing. We can't do anything but why. I'm gonna tell you, anytime you give black folks the right to bear arms, and we unalive each other in our own communities. They give us our own land to build our own communities, and we go destroy them by our own hands. And now they give you YouTube and Facebook and social media. You don't spend any time talking about white folks other than passing. Listen how they talk about him. Oh, he's funny. He's humorous. But then when you start talking about your own people, look at that low down, dirty N-word. That's what you say. I got people on the internet right now wishing me death, and all I want is the best for black men. And for black men to marry black women, and have good, healthy families. This is what you say to me? Y'all can trade me. Send me on. I'm ready to look. Great-great-great-great-granddaddy, I know you helped these colored folk in Arkansas, in Kansas, but I think I'm ready to go to the DR. Maybe a little further. Because these are different people than we dealing with now. Those people, they had towns and law firms, and my great-great-great-granddaddy's law partner, W.L. Sayer, and I would like to meet some of his relatives too. This man started the first, what they call movie house for black folks in the country. I was like, really? Or at least west of the Mississippi. That's what these black men were doing. I would have loved to interact with those men instead of some of you knuckleheads that I have to interact with. You act like you don't have good sense. Even the ones with education, you think they would know better. You think you would owe something to the community. I will never tell you I'm like these weak, lying, backstabbing, so-called pro-blacks. But you can't be pro-black if you're destroying the life of another black man. Without the black man, there is no black community because there's no protector and there's no builder. So all you got is what you have now, a bunch of women and children and a bunch of pookies and non-productive men that's only good for laying down making babies. That's what you have now. So when you see a productive black man, take the productive and the black, and that's your pro-black. Pretty simple to me. That sounds like what it productive black. You understand what I mean? Pro-black. That's the only pro-black I'm talking about, because the rest of it is just hyperbole and hypocrisy and BS, because you really don't mean it. So you need to stop calling yourself that. If you've torn down more black folks than you have built up, then you're not pro-black. You just saying it in there. You like a sheriff with a 10 badge. You're nobody and you have no authority. A man will be known by his deeds and his actions and his accomplishments, not his words. You don't know what Alexander the Great said. You know what he did. You don't know what Napoleon said. You know what he did. Most of you all can't give me a quote from George Washington, but you know what he did. You know what Nelson Mandela did. Stayed in prison for over 20 years. You know what some of these other great men, even the great African General Shaka Zulu, you don't know a quote of what he said, but you know what he did. You're known by your deeds. That's the legacy that you leave for. So if your deed was destroying the life of black men, misleading them, which eventually led to the destruction of what we have now here, this society that my ancestors helped build. You see, this is a society that my direct ancestors helped build. And you blacks, you modern day, y'all destroying it. It was my ancestors that said, come on up here to Kansas, let's get out of the South. I'm telling you, I'm pointing to you. I'm telling you that. That's why I'm the way I am now. I knew it was a reason why I wasn't like y'all. Somebody type, he ain't like us in the chat. Somebody type, they not like us in the chat room. They are not like us. This is us right here. This is us. They not like us. They not into productivity and building and doing better. They just want to talk. They want to destroy. You the enemy. That's basically what y'all, you just the enemy. And I've been saying this for a while. You got to separate yourself from those non-productive blacks, those non-productive people in general. Every other race does. You got to separate yourself because they're not going to do anything but tear you down. If you wasn't smart enough to do what I did, and that's just to go ahead and put it all out there and let everybody see in these books and learn some lessons from it. It's been thousands of people that have purchased these books and they've learned lessons. And I've helped turn people's lives around because I'm being honest. See, the truth and God are synonymous. The truth is God. God is the truth. And when you speak the truth, God is with you. But if you find yourself speaking lies, then you with the other people. You with the demons and the degenerates and the devils. That's how that works. And you don't have to like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. And y'all mark my words. Mark my words. These same people, what they're putting out there, the graves that they're digging for somebody else, they're going to end up in one right next to them. That same energy they put back, I had that same energy when it come back to you, when people start saying who your mom is, when people start saying who your daddy is, when people start talking about your criminal record, when people start talking about why you fled this state or this town or this country, or when people start talking about your indictments and your criminal records and your judgments and how many times you've been evicted and what woman said you did this to her and what man said you did to her. Wait till your business come out in the street. I didn't put all my business out in the street. I put it out there. Put it out, rolled on top of it, danced around it, cried about it, jumped on top of it, and went on about my business and got some new business. You looking at a Hall of Fame attorney, irrespective of what I had to do. You looking at a multi-millionaire business running attorney, irrespective of what I had to go through. You looking at a man who is descended from political royalty on both sides of the family, and come to find out, the ancestors who came before George Washington Sr. wouldn't take the white man's name. Brought over here in shackles, specifically was the chief of one of his tribes came over here and said, you gonna call me George Washington. And then I had another ancestor on another side that y'all gonna name me King. That's why I got the King lineage and the George Washington Jones. They refused. They wanted to be named after kings. This is 150 years ago. This is who you looking at. That's why I ain't scared of y'all. I know the Most High is with me and my ancestors got my back. I ain't worried about none of y'all. Destined for greatness. Been destined for greatness. Always been it. Because I'm with the Lord and I speak the truth. It's something I will fight you for what I know to be right, but I will also apologize when I'm wrong. That's integrity. Some of y'all don't have that. That's why so many are doubling down and tripling down, knowing they wrong, going with these lies against this young man. But that's all right. The Lord will show you better than I can tell you.